cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to FF episode 2210. I'm Mike Matthews. The show's called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's pretty much daily, although I think I took yesterday off. I had stuff to do, called work, called life, and this podcast. It's you. I do this podcast for you, the person listening to this show, whoever it is. I don't know. Could be no one. Could be someone. Could be Beefcake.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Meat cake. Whatever that George Carlin joke was. Could be meat, could be cake, could be meat cake. Okay.
Mike's
Here we are.
Daily
Are you going to
Podcast.
fly soon?
Yeah!
People are flying more. And all kinds of airlines are like trying to get people to fly more. And there's this thing where, I mean, I haven't flown in over a year. I think most of us haven't, so that's interesting. How some people end up living at airports for months, even years at a time. Some do so of their own accord, using airport amenities to meet their basic needs. Others, however, would rather be anywhere else and find themselves at the mercy of bureaucratic wrangling. That's from theconversation.com. But I'm Mike Matthews, and this is from MikesDailyPodcast.com, this podcast. Robocalls. Spam robocalls became profitable scams by exploiting the phone system. It's easier and cheaper than ever for companies to send spam robocalls. You can block them with apps and by understanding how the system works. That's Business Insider, which I don't pay for, so I don't think I can actually find out what the answer is to that. Do you love it oh so much when you are walking down the street and you're enjoying a nice, beautiful day, and the sidewalk, the public sidewalk that's there for you is wide open, except for all of a sudden somebody has parked in the driveway.
And here's today's podcast picture.
That crosses over the sidewalk, and well, you can't get across it now. There's a car there in the driveway. So you either have to walk up the driveway onto the person's property and trespass, or you have to walk into the street and threaten your own life. Don't you love that? When someone just carelessly parks right there in the driveway. Well, there's not enough room to pull all the way up in the driveway, so I have to block the sidewalk now. People will understand. Don't you love people that just think people will understand? I know, Basil. That's how, yes, we feel the same way about quote-unquote people who will understand. Because we are the people who understand, and we're done understanding it. I don't understand. And don't you love it when you're talking to someone and trying to explain to them something, and it's obvious they don't understand what you're saying, or they're not following the line of your storytelling? Perhaps this is happening to you now. I don't know what Mike's talking about right now, so I'm just going to zone out. That happens a lot to me. What's that say about me? I don't know. If you listen to this podcast, I don't exactly sound like that person that's doing that Zoom training on how to do a particular website that you've never been on. This is how you do the website, and then you go to this button and you press this button. And then if you don't press that button, again, you'll have to press this button. And you will go into the extra room. If you have any questions, you can chat and go in the chat room. But yes, I love it when people zone out when I'm talking to them. And I'm still talking, and I'm trying to get to the end of the story or whatever it is I was telling them. And I abridge the heck out of it so I can get the story done. I put little inflections here and there to try and wake them up or break them out of their zone out. And it does not work. Because they're in the zone. They're zoned out. The zone. The podcast picture today is of a bowl. No, not a fruit bowl, a flower bowl. This would be the Albany Bowl or Albany Bowl. It is there at a bulb. Sorry, it's a bulb, not a bowl. I always think it's the bulb. It's an Albany bulb, but it's an Albany bulb. It's a bulb, and I can only guess it is called that because it kind of looks like a bulb. It was a landfill at one time. It's got a lot of like your urban art. That would be graffiti and junk that has been put into interesting. Some of it is interesting. You're like, oh, that's creative. And other stuff, you're like, oh, someone was on drugs. That's what became of this. But yes, it's in Albany, California. And you can see that picture now at MikesDailyPodcast.com. The Albany bulb. Oh, there was an Albany bulb transition plan. Transitioning to public parkland. Oh, because, it used to be a junkyard. And the East Bay Regional Park District is helping out with that. Protruding metal, unregulated art projects, uneven ground, construction debris, and recent homeless encampments have been part of what the Albany bulb has had to contend with. But see a picture of it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. I'll have some other interesting pictures, I'm sure, in the future of that. Involve that. Why grammar mistakes in a short email could make some people judge you. Writing errors often appear in text messages, emails, and other types of informal electronic communication. These errors matter when a short email is the only basis for judgment. I find that people that make mistakes in their emails and their texts, they're in a hurry, but the other people will understand. The people reading this will understand. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe how come every single email you send has a mistake in it? I'm going to now start to think maybe there's something up with you. And you might need a little help. In other areas other than grammar, possibly is what I'm thinking. Okay. So, electric cars. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley today. I do not have an electric car. I do not, I can't afford one, so I'm like, I love the fact that there are electric cars, and I know the price will come down. You know, at one point, a CD player was like $2,000. Now it's obsolete. Some computers still allow you to put a CD in them and play it, but it's pretty much gone now. So maybe CD players are increasing in value again. Yes, some people still have CDs, and I'm outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, looking at like 2,000 CDs. So many CDs, so little time. Oh, and by the way, I'm listening to a CD I bought a long time ago, used, of Stephen Page. He's the guy from Bare Naked Ladies, not the one that raps really fast. He's the one that has the big, huge voice. He sings on songs like Broken to the Old Apartment and Brian Wilson. If I had a... No, not that one. He sings the chorus on One Week. Anyway, this CD is rather enjoyable. Oh, because the car that I have is used and it still has a CD player in it, and I'm enjoying it because you know what? That's some old technology that most cars, in fact, all cars probably don't have today. So I'm listening to it and going, gosh, that guy's got a great voice. I know he had some drug issues. I hope he's gotten over that. I know he was in rehab, but just what a voice, that guy. And he likes to write interesting lyrics. He does sing interesting songs. So this solo album, I'm not sure what it is. I don't think he's got that many, but I think one was called The Vanity Project. So there is a spokesperson and a board member of the Electric Auto Association who is saying, right now there are dozens of models of plug-in cars available. Almost every car maker sells EVs now. Most are all electric. They have to be plugged in. And some have a gas engine. These are sedans and SUVs, luxury and economy cars, foreign, domestic, even minivan and a Mini Cooper. There'll be pickup trucks too soon. the mileage of them, there are many EVs that go between 200 and 400 miles per charge. That would include cars by Chevrolet, Kia, Hyundai, Porsche, Audi, and Tesla, of course, and many more are on the way, including the much anticipated cars by Volkswagen and Volvo's Polestar EV brand. For most people, the most convenient and cheapest way to juice up an EV is plugging in at home. That means you have to have your house converted to do that. And if you live in a house like mine that was built in the 50s, that may be problematic. Never going to the gas station and paying less per mile is a tremendous benefit. Public charging is increasingly available, including where you shop, at some gas stations, and by interstate highways. Fast chargers that can get you on your way in about 30 minutes are sprouting up everywhere. EVs perform as well as or better than traditional vehicles, particularly in accelerating and in the smoothness of ride. As for safety, according to the federal government, EVs generally perform at least as well as their gasoline or diesel competitors. All electric cars receive safety ratings that the NHTSA.gov has more info on. And there are apparently still lots of incentives available. Federal tax credits, state rebates, sales tax exemptions, carpool lane priorities, utility company rebates. Although I never seem to find that. But that's apparently Plugstar.com has details on that. So, but I think for myself, at some point that will happen, getting an electric car. It's still like 10 years away at least, I would imagine. We're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Look who's here. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player. Tell you what, Mike.
Mike.
What was that?
I don't know. You said my name, Mike, so I felt... I don't know. Usually we have this other routine worked out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
What?
Was that it?
I don't know. Do it again.
I'll tell you what.
What?
Okay, that's better. I have a non-electric, non-gas car vehicle that I use, and it's a horse.
Okay, I get it. So it's a vehicle. Your horse is not a car, though.
Exactly. This was great that we spent the time talking, you and I, Mike Matthews.
Yes, it's odd. Do you like the picture of the musk ox for the last podcast? The last podcast picture that you can see at MikesDailyPodcast.com?
It was fantastic. Musk oxes are a must-have in today's world.
Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer hairstyle right now.
I don't know why when you did that, my voice got all scratchy.
I don't know either. Have some delicious root beer. Yeah, drink it right now.
Excellent. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. It's been a joy doing the show for you today. You can find out more at MikesDailyPodcast.com, and you can call me, let me know what you think about whatever we covered today in today's show at 336-MM Daily. That's 3 plus 3 equals 6. Well, MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily isn't what this podcast is, and since I just messed that all up, you can find the phone number, too, at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Take it away, April.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!